Hi everyone, I'm Joe Higgins, and this is another edition of Coach Speak. With me today is Coach Mark Truax of the Nelsonville-York varsity girls basketball team, which is kind of wrapped up. So it was announced that this is going to be your last season. I'm going to get into a lot of questions about your coaching career, but how do you feel now that that's official?
Well, it's kind of bittersweet to where, I kind of knew this was going to be it as the year drawn on, and then it still hasn't quite wrapped up yet with the banquet and some of the stuff that's still going on. But at the same time, it's refreshing to know that it's over, and just looking forward to what the future has for me. But at the same time, it is. They say the basketball season is the longest season, and it can be.
It sure can. Well, tell us how you got into coaching in the first spot.
Well, it all started back in 1996 when I started coaching junior high. I was in college at a high university and started coaching junior high at Alexander, and started from there. We're 3 years there. I was then went to Vinton County for 5 years, 3 of it being with varsity, and I won a TVC title there at Vinton County. And then from in 2004, 2005, I came here and coached for 5 years, won a TVC title and 2 sectional titles back then. And then took quite a bit of time off about when my kids were growing up. Coached them in Biddy League. And after about a 10 or 11, 12-year stint of being out and just coaching the lower levels, about 4 years ago, Mr. Edwards asked me, said positions open if I wanted it, and did some thinking, and I'm so grateful I did. The last 4 years with the group of girls that I've been a part with, it's just a great group. The community, the parents, everybody that's involved, and my coaching staff. It was just a great experience getting back into it.
We're going to get to later in the interview to talk about your team this year, but I want to stick with the coaching side of things. Why did you get into coaching in the first place? What was the draw?
Well, so back when I got involved, when I was going to OU, we're a sports family. Just any sport. I played basketball for a year in college at a high university Eastern, and I didn't really necessarily know that basketball would be the sport. I kind of was. I really like baseball as well, and so I was wanting to just coach one of them. My dad was always he coached us all the way through, never anything school related with my dad. But it was, I kind of knew I was getting into the teaching field, so I kind of knew I wanted to coach. And then I met Don Mash, who used to be the bus transportation manager here at Nelsonville-York, and he ended up being my assistant when I came here in 2004. And he said that once you start coaching girls, I don't think you're going to switch and want to coach boys. And other than coach my boys in the Biddy League level, I enjoyed the girls and that aspect as far as coaching them, and I stuck with it. And so I guess just we're ate up with sports. So,
what did you think being a head coach was going to be like before you did it, and then what was it like when you actually started doing it for the first time?
So when I started as a varsity coach, it would have been my fifth after, so it'd be my 6th year, and so I was about 25 years old as a varsity coach. And to be honest with you, I just jumped right in, and the girls at Vinton when I was there, they kind of rallied upon the new coach and the new mentality we had. We won the league then, and then it just kind of spiraled from there to where after 3 years there, then there was an opening here back then, and the same thing here when I came here. Whitney Maiden, Jordan Bateman, Sarah Higgins were seniors, and it was like just that those girls rallied around me, and all 3 of them just ate up with sports, let alone Lisa Mead at the point guard, and Megan Edwards as well on that team.
Pretty good talent to come in.
So that's a real good situation to come and be a part of, and that's the reason we won the league. And it's like my successes, I always attributed to the players. I mean, if it wasn't for the players, I wouldn't have the success that I had.
Of course. You mentioned that you were told that if you started coaching girls, you wouldn't want to switch to boys. Would that ever come into your mind? What is it about coaching girls that you enjoyed so much?
I just feel like, I mean, there's a connection there to where it's a comfort thing. And I mean, I kind of saw it when I coached the boys a little bit in Biddy League, and it was just, I just wasn't comfortable for some reason. It was like, I don't know, I'm kind of an X's and O's guys in like quick hitter offenses. And so it's just with the girls, I felt like that just hit with them to where set a couple good screens and you should get a pretty good shot. And it's that philosophy has kind of worked along the years to where we played fast and we scored a lot of points. In girls basketball, there was a year where Kim Klein's junior year, Lisa Mead's senior year, we had 88 points in a game. That's pretty impressive.
So you mentioned your style, you mentioned the wins. There's more that goes into coaching that's outside the win-loss column. What's some of those moments you're most proud of?
So it all goes back to I teach fourth grade math, and so that was kind of bittersweet with these girls in the locker room after the other night of losing for the coaching in my last game, to where I've basically been around these girls since fourth grade, and it hit home to some of them. It hit harder probably to some of them than I thought it would, and it's pretty cool to see the impact I have on kids. And it's basically, my philosophy is just do the right thing, and do the right thing that things won't go wrong for you much. And it's like I kind of preach that to them, to my kids, even in the classroom. And so, I mean, the girls have kind of taken to it, even though they cringe at times at me, certain things like my sayings, but it's like, it's been pretty cool. Yeah.
What about in terms of you as a coach and your growth as a coach? Was there a turning point? Was there a point where you feel like, I got this, I can do this? And
I mean, I truly believe it was my first year at Vinton County, where my first year we won the league. We had 16 wins, and that was when I was like, okay, yeah, I can do this, and this is fun. and I think at that point that pretty much sold me with coaching girls basketball, because I mean, that was just so much fun that year. And then even coming here 3 years after that, and then winning the league here, I mean, that was so much fun. And just some of the gyms during that season, I mean, it was the night we won the league. We beat Belpre, who Belpre was the odds-on favorite, had won the league the year before, and everyone had picked them, and then we upset them and beat them. And just the way that place was packed that night, I'll definitely remember that night.
Coach, we all know that coaches are there to teach the student athletes. What have your players taught you over the years?
Patience. Definitely patience, and I mean, my family, my wife can vouch for it. I'm not the most patient person ever. If I want something, I want the results to show pretty fast, and I feel like that's kind of been my career, where we've the places I've gone and getting back into it the second time here, we won pretty fast here 4 years ago, and it's like I definitely like. Yeah, I'm not too patient. So the past couple of years have definitely taught me a lot of patience. We've had some growing pains, but at the same time, like, these are such good kids that I've worked with, and I'll definitely treasure that.
How would you describe? Try to make this one sentence if you can. Your coaching philosophy.
Coaching philosophy in one sentence. Definitely play fast and be efficient.
And where did that come from? Why did you want to do that way? Play that style.
It was something that kind of grew on me, because, to be honest with you, back in my early days at Vinton County, when I was coaching JV, the head coach, and he asked me, what style do you want to do? And I actually told him the Princeton style, because that was super fun to watch 30 years ago. And when the Princeton basically eat 40 seconds off the play clock and then get a good shot, like that was what I intentionally wanted. But then after just having
you don't have the patience.
You just don't have the patience. So it turned into let's score as many points as we can and try to be efficient to where we limit the turnovers. And at the same time, I think it kind of that sold me with, I had a numerous amount of people, especially my first time around here, to where everybody would just come up to me and be like, we love watching you guys. We never thought we'd love girls basketball, but we love watching you guys. And that meant the world to me back then when the people here in Nelsonville-York were telling me that.
Yeah. What kind of values do you hope that you were able to instill in your players?
I mean, as I said, do the right thing. Just basically the little things. Kim Klein, my assistant, that's a big focus. Big thing that she says is little things, and the little things add up to winning championships. And hopefully this group they'll completely buy into it, because at times this year we definitely had our moments to where all those little things we did, and we had a few good games to where it showed. It everything that we worked on in practice, it came to a T. But then there were several games where we just kind of lost the mojo, and it didn't go well for us. And hopefully they've learned. It was kind of a hard lesson at times this year, but hopefully they've learned from that and be able to turn around next year.
Maybe some of that patience as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
What do you hope that, now that you're calling it a career at this point, that you hope former players will remember about you, that either from the first time or this time, or from any time you've coached them?
Well, I mean, it means a lot to me when there's a lot of former players will reach out, and I'm not on Facebook anymore, but when I was, just a lot of former players, some that like Jen Andrews, Megan Edwards, Osti Powell, some of those girls that just they mean a lot to me. They were just a big part of our program, and Jessie Clay, another one, and I mean I could keep going. Kelly Cox, just a lot of those girls back in the day that definitely made it a great run for me back then, and then just getting back into it with the group, the first year back with Era Levy, Kaylee Dupler, Brooklyn Richards, Emma Fields. I mean, I couldn't ask for just the group of kids that I've been able to work with, and just remembering that, and just to know that I was a little part of that, and give them something, kind of life memories for them.
How did you know it was time to hang up the practice whistle and put away the whiteboard?
Well, I mean, it was definitely a hard decision, but as the year went on this year, I've added 2 medications in my life.
That'll do it.
And I'm only 50 years old, so it's like, but and it really hit home during one of those doctor's appointments. The doctor looked at me and said, "Sir, you have to make some changes in your life. You have to eliminate some things that are causing you stress." And then, of course, I'm hard-headed, so I was like, "No, we can do this." And so as the year went on, we had an episode here at the Alexander game here last year where I kind of blacked out during one of the timeouts, and my blood pressure was 170 over 110, and so that was definitely, I was spent a day in the hospital, missed the Huntington game last year, so that definitely got my attention and our whole family's attention, and so it became pretty clear as this year kind of went on to where this would be it, and so I mean, it was tough, but at the same time, I feel good with the decision I made to where I feel good about it to where this is the right time.
Did this season feel any different knowing that this was going to be it?
Not really, but it was, I mean, it was definitely in the back of my mind where I kind of knew it, and I will say as the year went on to where there was some things that like I've always been like a creature of habit to where just all the fine details I would do, but I kind of was kind of had that with Kim to where Kim, she ran most of the practices, had the practice plans, and kind of just took a step back a little bit and let her get experience with that. And so that was kind of something different as the year played out to where that happened. But otherwise, I didn't approach anything else differently. I mean, even though I did know that this would be it, but I mean, I do want to speak about the last game, our last home game against Wellston, to where that was, I mean, that's a situation where I'll definitely remember the rest of my life, to where, and I feel good for Michaela Summers for her last, that's her senior night moment. I told him in the pregame locker room, I told him that I remember my senior night moment to where we beat Barnesville by 27 points after they had beat us by, I don't know how many points, but we had beat them on our senior night and got basically our curtain calls at the end of the game. That's something I always remember. And for her to win like that on that night, and then just for it to play out the way it did. For I know the kids were playing a little extra hard that night, knowing that was, and I made it known to them that was my last home game, and that's definitely a moment I'll remember. And I can't thank them enough for the way that it played out on the court, and then the fact that Kim and my boys had surprised me with bringing my whole family in from my mom and dad lived 2 hours away, so they had them and my wife and other son, and then my brother and his family from up in Columbus come down, and it was just a special night.
Really was a special night. You talk about the ceremony we had before the game with you, and then Summers and the energy that was in that gym, and just everybody was really invested in that contest.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I've told a lot of people that night reminds me of some of those championship nights that I had, to where, minus the cutting the nets, everything else was the exact same. I mean, the giddiness afterwards, where we're out and about and hugging and crying on each other and getting team pictures, and that just reminded me of some of those championship nights that we had, and it was just so awesome to end that. I couldn't have painted a better way to end the season at home that way. That was awesome.
What was it like though after the last game? You know it's the last game. You walk off that hardwood for the last time. Saying goodbye to the group, all of that.
It's always tough, and so my boys, I'm not sure they've ever seen me cry. I'm not really an emotional person, and so there was some tears being shed in that locker room, and just seeing what it meant to the girls and the reaction from them. It just it shows you what you mean. What it was definitely worth it, and like I'll never take that back. Like that's something I'll treasure, and I'm definitely very thankful for. And there was some tears shed in that locker room afterwards.
What did this particular group of players mean to you, given that it'll be your last?
I mean, the thing I'll remember about this group is they were just so fun. Like I'm not sure they take too much serious, so that was something that we clashed with a little bit and tested my patience a little bit. But they're just a fun group, and that's definitely something I'll remember. And the times that we went to the beaches the last couple years, down to North Carolina and then to coastal Carolina this past year, that a lot of people don't realize that it's more than just a season. Like we started every year in June and worked for a month, and then Kim did a lot of individual workouts after that, and then we started up basically in September with some open gyms, and so it's like a year-long process, and that's what I tell people, to where it takes a lot of energy, and it's the longest season of the year if you ask me, and so that kind of definitely played into it was time to hang it up, to where there's definitely a lot of time invested, where just outside of the season alone.
Coach, we're going to go down your roster, let you get a chance to say goodbye to these players one last time. I know you still have your banquet, but then we'll also wrap up with your coaches. I'm going to jump around the roster a little bit, but we'll start with the seniors. And you had two, one that played for you, and then Kylie Bishop we'll start with, who helped you in other ways. Yeah,
Kylie, she played all the way up until her senior year, when she basically was deemed ineligible as far as health reasons with her leg. So, but I mean, she's such a good kid where I wanted her around the team. So we had trouble at times getting bookkeepers. My wife would always do it, but then she encountered some back troubles this year. So I needed a bookkeeper, and so Kylie stepped up and did it, and I think she truly enjoyed it, and she's just such a good kid. And she played 3 years all the way up until her senior year, and it was sad that she couldn't get on the floor, like the floor to play, but she was just such a good presence to have around.
You mentioned her a little bit earlier, but Michaela Summers.
Yeah, Michaela, I'm so glad she scored on senior night. We tried several times in that game to run some sets for her, and then finally we got her to the foul line. She sank both of them, and
she also had a couple rebounds and an assist in there.
So. Yes. I mean, and sometimes when you got a senior like that, to where I've seen it where some teams will start them on senior night and then take them right out. But I told myself that no, we're gonna let her play quite a bit tonight, and that's definitely something I'll remember, and I know she's gonna remember. And being her first time playing, like in forever. Kind of wish and we all said it, and she even says it, to where wish we had her since her freshman year, but it is what it is, and I think she enjoyed coming out this year.
And the amount of energy she brought to the team, especially that night, it was contagious. I think it set the tone for the entire game.
Yeah, that was just a fantastic night all the way around. I'm so glad that Michaela we got to celebrate her senior night that way.
Let's go down to your freshmen, who obviously played a lot of JV this year, but also worked their way into some varsity time. We'll start with Chloe Edwards.
Chloe, she definitely come quite a ways this year, to where she got some buckets there in the Wellston game at the end. But she's one where she's got to keep working, and we would definitely, being a sophomore next year, like there's definitely some room to grow for her, and for sure.
She's got some talent that you're just waiting to unlock.
Sort of thing. For sure, and the confidence thing for her especially. And for freshmen, that's kind of a big barrier to kind of overcome it anyway. But for her, once she gets that confidence, she'd be really good.
I think speaking of confidence, it brings us to Paige Hartman. Her confidence seemed to develop throughout the year, to where she was more
for sure
be able to go out and score and things like that.
Yeah, as the year went on, she definitely got more minutes for us at times, and she definitely looked comfortable out there early on. Maybe not so, but as a freshman, I mean, that's not unexpected. But she definitely was a pleasant surprise as the year come on. Definitely, hopefully that progress continues for her. Yeah.
And the next one, obviously, I know a lot of is Michaela Higgins.
Yeah, I'm so happy the bucket she scored for us, and I mean, she's just such a great kid. You've raised a good one there, and I mean, she's another one ever since fourth grade that teaching her a math class. She's so brilliant in math, and just I mean, I can't say enough good things about that girl. She's definitely level-headed, where there's been a lot of times, like even during the timeouts and locker rooms, where I would hear her quietly kind of try to keep the team together, and just a level head about her, where some of the girls we went through some rough patches this year, to where getting beat by a lot, but she was always just a pleasant presence for us, and definitely looking for her to develop too.
A freshman who worked her transfer here, but worked her way into your rotation pretty early, Josie Palo.
Yeah, and her size was just definitely a welcoming. Because to be honest with you, like I mentioned, some of those early kids, like my first tenure here, Whitney and Megan, those kids with height, but here lately, not too many. Lena Akulich, definitely need to mention her name, to where. We haven't had too much height here lately, and that was kind of one of our basically our things we had to overcome in a lot of games, and she definitely presented that height and just the presence, to where if she's going to be a good one if she keeps working at it and just gets that toughness about her. There was a time, it was funny, in the Belpre game early on this season, she comes off the floor a little upset, and I said, "What's the matter?" And she said, "Coach, they're talking trash to me." And that's when I knew, okay, this is a freshman I'm dealing with, and it's like I had a few choice words for her, and I said, "It's time to toughen up," and I said, "That's going to happen." But she was fun to coach for sure this year.
I think it also benefited her on the JV. She was kind of running the show. And then to move into the varsity and play different roles for that.
Yeah, I also want to speak about the JV, to where like we only basically played 5 players on the JV, and so for them to play the whole time, a lot of the times without any subs, and yeah, we had to ask her and even Stella to maybe do some things that they wouldn't normally do on the varsity team. I mean, that's only good things for them to basically help them improve. Yeah,
just more experience.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Stella, so I was going to go into the sophomores here, and Stella Petrov.
Yeah, she's an athletic kid. And she's come a long way since last year, where she harnessed a lot of her ability this year to where she looked more smooth at times, and that's something she's still going to need to improve on. But I can definitely tell her dribbling has improved this year, and then her shooting, she's turned into having a really nice shot. She hit a 3 for us one of the varsity games late in the season. So definitely something, and again with her with confidence, she needs confidence to where if she gains that and feels comfortable out there on the floor, she could definitely be a big help.
Sort of, I thought like a Swiss Army knife for you guys, or a Swisher. She can do a little bit of everything for you.
Yeah, and there were a few games where we needed some buckets, and she doesn't hesitate when she's open, and that's kind of my philosophy to where I'm not going to tell you not to shoot, and a lot of kids like that because maybe coaches in the past have told them not to shoot, but that's not my philosophy. Like if they're open, shoot it. Like we're playing. Like you played this game your whole life, shoot
right.
it. And she definitely did that a few times where she got 10 points in a game just firing it away. And then another one to where if she gets tougher, like she could be a beast to deal with inside. So that's something that she's definitely, if she gets a little tougher, more confident with her skills inside in the paint area, like she could be a tough one to stop.
We saw flashes of that. I think it was at Athens where she scored like 8 out of 10 in a row or something like that, where she was just confident and was going.
Yeah, when she's on, and that was definitely big for us at times this year that she brought for us.
You mentioned shooting. We got to go to Cam Jolly. She's got a shot on her.
Yeah, she pretty shot, and yeah, she had a few big moments for us this year. Definitely, I'd say going forward next year that there's some big hopes for her next year to just keep excelling and to just be that consistent presence out there handling the ball and so yeah, she's just a great kid. She's probably, I'd say, my most coachable kid I've ever had, to where she will always look you in the eye, and I mean that is just a good trait to have of any person, and she definitely has that, to where like she probably came off half the time knowing that she might be getting ripped coming off the court, but she would always look me in the eye and just take it all in and say, yes, coach, and that's something I'll definitely always remember about her.
I think wrapping out your sophomores will be Veda Stalter.
Veda, she's definitely a spark plug. That's the best way to call her, and she plays great defense. And if I could, I'd play her the whole 32 minutes, but it almost looks like at times she played 2 minutes and she's about ready to die. So we tried to kind of even that out, to where give her as many breaks as possible, because when she's going good, when she's
goes all out,
when she's going 100%, like, and she brings it, and it's just she's so athletic. She got a good shot too, and doesn't hesitate to shoot it when she's open, and it's definitely a good core of sophomores there. So
such a young team. You got to look to your juniors. Let's get into them now. We'll start with Maislyn Call, who has just an incredible wingspan and used it to a great advantage this year.
She's got a tremendous wingspan, and speaking of confidence, I mean, if she had any type of confidence, that she would be hard to stop. But she definitely lacks it, and I'm not sure what creates that for her, because like we keep pushing her every night. Her brother, I know Bryant, pushes her a ton, to where shoot the ball, and so but she definitely this year had her moments in some games. River Valley definitely comes to mind, where she had a double in that game, and so yeah, definitely looking for that senior presence out of her next year.
She always she had a nose for the ball. Wherever the ball was, she was able to find it, get herself in position, and go find it and get rebounds.
Yep. She plays great defense too, and so she's just an athletic kid that I don't know, it was just one of those things where I just felt like the lack of confidence overall from a lot of kids just wasn't there at times, and to where if they just had that confidence that just do it. Just I don't know if they're like, and I told them I'm done yelling at you. Like, you don't be afraid of me yelling. So it's like if she can just go out and play her game, and especially how Bryant wants her to play, like, she'll be an all-stars.
Yeah, I understand that. Ava Nungester, another kind of five-tool player that was lacking the scoring, but started to do a little bit of it towards the end. Maybe getting more of that next year.
Yeah, and I think the Logan game pretty much opened her up a little bit to where, and it was kind of the practices leading up to that a little bit, to where we told her, like, if teams are not going to play you out on the perimeter, just shoot it. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Miss it. So she ended up making a few, and that gained some confidence to her, to where, like, that was definitely big for us. And there were even times where teams would be pressing us pretty good and putting a lot of pressure on Maddie. So we told Ava to bring the ball up the court.
It's a great job.
And that was our best chance of getting the ball up the court a lot of the times, to where that would save our other players, where they didn't have to work as hard, to where if they weren't going to play defense on Ava, like, make them pay for it. And that was my big thing to her. And she definitely responded that Logan game, and like from there on after, like, she definitely, if she can keep progressing from there, that's going to be big for her. Yeah. Last
and certainly not least on the squad here is Maddie Pitcock.
Yeah, and she's just come like such a long way, and everybody sees how good she is now. But her freshman year, we all knew she had it in her. She loves basketball, and from her freshman year, when she averaged 5 a game, and then doubling it to 12 points a game last year, and then now 18 points. And at one time she was way over 20 points for a little while on her average, and just the progression that she has had, and the way that she was basically coachable this year. And there were a few times where the outsiders would see it, to where they'd see some spats, like, between me and her a lot, and they would judge that, but it's like, I know what I had Maddie, and I know how much she cares about it.
Yeah.
And I saw it in one of the games, Tom Izzo, with one of his players from Michigan State. He got into it with a player, and they asked him in the media scrum after the game, like, why does he yell at you? And he said, if that son of a gun cares that much to yell back at me, then he's a baller.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I think of her, and our I guess, situations we had this year, where maybe we didn't see eye to eye, but we would always talk it out, and we always wanted the best for everybody. And if you ask me, Maddie, the game that she had against Wellston at the end of the year, that's the game that she would want to have every time. She had 16 points, 10 assists, and 6 boards. And she would rather have that than the 35-point game, 34-point game that she had against Wellston and River Valley. But it's or Megs in River Valley, but it's like, I can't say enough good things about her. She definitely, and she might even be playing out of position, to where at the next level I could possibly see her as a 2. But like, for her to handle the ball and take the other team's best defense game in and game out, it's definitely huge.
She's just a true baller. Like, anything you needed her to do on the floor, she would do it. She had to do it. You mentioned playing against all these double teams, triple teams, junk defenses, and she's trying to figure her way through all of it. But I think you're right. I think the biggest thing I saw out of her development this year was leadership. Yeah. She would rather do those things where all those other girls are getting involved, and she's just kind of leading the pack, if you will, but not like being the spotlight. She'd rather everybody be successful.
Yep, and there were a few games. She actually missed a game at Benton County. She tried to even come to that one, but she couldn't make it. But there was at least 2 or 3 games to where she was pretty sick, and a lot of kids maybe wouldn't have played, but she definitely toughed it out. And her toughness, and like, it's... Yeah, and it's what I said earlier in the interview, that the kids is what made it for me. Yeah. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't have the wins I've had if it wasn't for the kids. Sure. Like, and some great players, and Maddie's one of them.
We'll get you out of here on your coaching staff, because that had to be pretty special to you. to walk off the court last time with some family and a former player with you as well.
Yeah.
How was that for your coaching staff to helping you out?
So when I came back, and one of the decisions when 4 years ago when it was like they wanted me to get back into it, I had to come up with the coaching staff. And so I when we were trying to make the decision, and my boys were pressuring me, and Dad, you got to take it back. You got to take it back. We know you can win with this team. And so I just jokingly said, well, I'm only going to do it if you guys coach with me. And they just thought I was joking, and I kind of went at that for a few days. And I come back to them, and I said, I'm only going to coach if you guys coach. And so it made them think, and they were all on board. And they 4 years ago, my oldest son Connor, my middle son Preston, they basically said, yeah, we'll do it. And that was I mean, these last 4 years have been just unforgettable for those reasons. Some of the hugs we've had over on some of those games and those championship nights, and even the Wellston night on senior night, just the hugs from them. And then speaking of Kim, 4 years ago when I got the job, I was looking for assistants, and at the time she was in Kansas, and I gave her a call, and I knew it was just another shot in the dark. It was just kind of like I threw it out with my boys, and then I get a call almost a week or two later. I can't remember the time frame, but she said, Coach, I think I'm going to come back. And I was like, you're kidding me. Like, are you really going to do it? And she did. And the first couple of years, she did it on a volunteer basis. And then she got on the payroll the last couple of years. And it's like pretty cool that one of my former players and that, I mean, can't say enough good things about Kim. She's got a heart for basketball, and just the way that she loves the game,
the passion, true baller.
the passion for the game, and then for her to just what she means to this school and this community, and her dad as well, Jay. That, I mean, it was a no-brainer to get her on the staff, and to having a female assistant coach was awesome, because like she took care of all the issues the girls would have, and just she'd be in the locker room with the girls and maybe try to temper some of the drama that could happen, and that was kind of a big thing that I focused with even back 20 some years ago, is I don't want drama, like no drama at all. And Kim was really big with that, or helping squash any of it if it would be any at all, and just so great to have her around.
Well, Coach, I think you should count yourself in there as well, as far as what you mean to this community and what you've done for the school. Congratulations on a tremendous coaching career, all the accolades and all of that. But really want to thank you for all the time you put in here, and then obviously sitting down with us, talking with us today.
I appreciate that, and I just want to say that what you're doing for putting all our games on the TV, on a chance for all the community, and not just the community, but my parents, as I spoke of, come 2 hours away. They didn't miss a game this year,
Yeah.
and it was, I will say they did miss a game or two, the games you couldn't do, but they did watch every time you had it on there, and even the game against River Valley here, they were confused why it went off air for a little bit, and with Kim's episode, we can look back on that and laugh now about it, where it was, but just all the times that all the trips that they would make here and to watch, to where that's another thing that played into me getting out of it, is they're getting older as well, and I'd like to spend more time with them too. So. But they were able to watch all the games, and for what you're doing in this community, putting Nelsonville-York athletics on the YouTube, it's amazing.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach. Thanks again for all you've done, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.